Hi everyone, and welcome back to Revisited, the place to retread familiar ground and cover certain games again. I did it. I actually did. I made an intro this time. I finally did it. So yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've actually done a review, and yeah, I want to apologize because I'm not gonna lie to you, 2025 was just a whole experience by itself. It was probably one of the worst years I've had, not only for me personally, but also just for content's sake. And so, I mean, we did make some good videos, like, we got Fantastic Four, Teen Titans, the Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut, and also my Freddy vs. Jason trilogy, which I'm really proud of. For the most part, but yeah, so I'm gonna try and tough it out and get back to what I'm doing here with the review channel, and this one's gonna be a good one. So anyway, who likes the AVGN? He is a staple of the YouTube space who I loved at first, fell off after a certain point, and now seems to be improving from what I'm seeing. I will always appreciate him for his early YouTube run and for getting me interested in retro video games. Again, I want to mention the NES Christmas present. Speaking of video games, let's talk about his for a moment. It's been a few years since I tackled the first game and only over a year since the sequel. Ever since I made those videos, I've always pushed this collection off, as the first time I hadn't played it and the second was a rush in for Halloween. But now, since I've begun the revisits, it's time for me to finally give the remasters the spotlight they rightly deserve. I don't think we need to waste any more time, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with its development, shall we? This was announced back in January 2019, and I remember being really excited for this. As someone who played the hell out of both games, the idea of these hitting modern platforms was just neat to me. It was also interesting learning that this was not only a remaster, but it also would include a bonus final chapter with you taking on Bugs fucking Bunny. It would eventually release in October 2020 for Switch and PC, with a PS4 and Xbox port coming in March of that next year. It got positive reviews at the time, but it was something that flew completely under my radar until April 2021. I wouldn't play it till after I finished working on the first AVGN video and right before I put it out on New Year's Eve. It's crazy timing, right? Shame I'm only getting to this now. I played this game till completion, getting everything on Steam, but honestly I haven't played this since 2022. I played the original versions a couple times, not counting the AVGN 2 video, but weirdly I haven't really touched this re-release for some odd reason. Since I'm in a mood, let's kick the new year off with some nerdy goodness. For this time I decided to look at the Xbox One version since I need to play my Series X more. And it's easier to record on a console. I wanted to show off the physical copy, but I don't have it, but I hope to get it someday. As for people asking why I didn't play my Steam copy, well...
Ass! Fuck!
I had to fit that in somewhere, but let's get into this collection, starting with AVGN Adventures. This was honestly the game I was looking forward to coming back to the most. For as much as I love AVGN Adventures, a lot of it is aged compared to the second game, so it'll be interesting to see the quality of life changes on display here. Starting with the story, it's still as simple as ever, but something about it is charming to me. It ain't winning any awards and there's nothing really to it, but it just feels appropriate for the nerd. Gameplay is much better and doesn't feel as stiff as before. It feels much closer to how it was in the sequel, which I much appreciate, and is still the same fun Contra and Mega Man hybrid. You can still shoot like it's nobody's business, use power-ups aplenty, and swap between your saved friends to deal with certain situations. Let's start with the power-ups. The Glitch Gremlin, Super Mecha Death Christ, the Super Scope, and the Steel Balls are all here and accounted for, with the Steel Balls getting the AVGN 2 treatment, which I love. Speaking of AVGN 2, they add the keg, F-bombs, and the spread shot, which you can find out in the open, or by running into your future self, which he'll give to you because, yeah. Time paradox? Nah, who gives a shit. As for your friends, they are fun to mess with and can come in clutch when you need them. The Bullshit Man is the weakest, and surprisingly Mike ended up being my go-to for most of the game. Guitar Guy is still great for bosses, but Mike I loved for his high jump and lightsaber for most enemies. I guess it helps to note that the traction issue I had is now gone and they all stop on a dime when I want them to. Getting into the levels, they're all here and they feel much better to trek through. It just felt like there was less bullshit to deal with and ultimately getting a more balanced experience. It all depends on the difficulty, but man, I'm glad those piece of shit death blocks are gone. Go burn in the hell you were created from, you worthless shitload of fuck. Sorry. Let's get into some changes. Beginning with the graphics, this game looks amazing. There is so much added detail and breathes new life into the package. Looking back, the original is good, even if I didn't sound enthused by it, but this just knocks it out of the park by a long shot. Each letter has nerd letters for you to get your completion brain racing, and all the YouTuber cameos have been replaced by the future nerd, which is a little disappointing. But he makes up for it with the items he gives you. Also, you can still find Shitpickle if you care about him. The soundtrack is still amazing as ever, and certain themes like the title theme, overworld, and tutorial have some added chiptunes which adds the AVGN theme melody to it. It's a nice change and I appreciate both versions of those tracks. The Mad Lib screens from the original are gone and now you just reload instantly, which is an improvement. Bosses are mostly the same aside from the changed sprites for the Ghost of Christmas, the unicorn being changed completely to the Bloodstained Brothers, and Fred Fox looking closer to Gilbert Godfrey.
What an asshole!
In short, the deluxe version of AVGN Adventures is a major improvement and comes close to my enjoyment of AVGN 2. The added improvements are great, and while some stuff is jarring like the changed bosses and such, I jumped into the game no problem. Comparing this and the original, I think you'll find the remaster better to play. Not to say the original is bad, but like I said, it has aged for sure. Great start to the collection overall. Alright, let's move on to the sequel. Something something diarrhea dick fart. Going into AVGN Assimilation, I was really curious to see what changes they were going to put in, but in reality, it isn't much. This recap might be short, but let's get into it. Story I still feel the same about. It isn't much of anything like the first game, but it works for the purpose of the nerd. It's slightly different this go around, as instead of fighting the Nostalgia Critic for the Sex Force pieces to fight this monstrosity, you're dealing with Fred Fox again, collecting the Fux Capacitor to battle the Fuckatron 9000. Man, that was a lot of fucking. But yeah, plot's fun, let's move on. Rhymes. Gameplay I'm not really going to talk about much, but I do love the new power-ups and upgrades you get throughout. The keg is the best of the bunch, but I do like the F-bombs when the situation requires it. As for upgrades, they're all useful, some more than others, but I like their addition. I think where I stand right now, I like these just as much as I like the other playable characters from the first game. Time to talk about some other changes here. Graphically, it looks really great, but I like the original more. Something about the colors just stick out to me more, and that became apparent with worlds like Nerd Gaiden and Board Games. All the references to the movie are gone, which is due to rights and stuff, so instead of battling General Dark Onward, you're fighting the Dark Invader, which I guess is more appropriate given the reference later in the fight. There are some smaller changes like different kaiju fighting in the background, certain names of levels being changed, and an arcade cabinet being added in the tutorial. I mean, what other changes can I talk about? Like the alien having a completely different sprite? Changes aside, AVGN 2 Assimilation is still an incredibly fun game and is worth it for the nerd fans and casual gamers looking for a good 2D experience. I love the upgrades and the levels offer a fair challenge. While I'm a bit disappointed with the remaster aspect, it's still a kick-ass game in its own right. Alright, time to move on to the final chapter. Yeah, that's it.
What the fuck were they thinking?
Now this is what I've been waiting to talk about. Besides the first game, this was the real reason I bought this remaster. A culmination of everything that came before, wrapping everything up in a nice little bow and giving players an added amount of meat to the game. And the verdict is... it's pretty good. Going into the plot, it picks up right after AVGN 2, with the nerd looking into the sky to see this mysterious tower appear out of nowhere. He's goaded into coming there by somebody insulting him and flipping him the bird, and his response is to hijack a random UFO and approach the deceptive-looking tower. For the story, it's about what I expected, so let's move on. Yeah, seriously, I don't have any more words for the story. So the crappy castle has 3 levels and a boss. Each of them have their unique set pieces and gimmicks to stand them out from each other, which is great, so let's go over them one at a time. The first level is on the outside, with you dealing with all kinds of shit like spikes, fire bars, anti-gravity, and lots more hell to trek through. The second is you dodging a big rig that progressively gets faster as you keep going, and the third level is a massive climb where you jump on one side and enter the other, if that makes sense. The final boss against the fucking rabbit is fun, with the beginning fight in the nerd room and a kaiju-sized second half where you shoot him in the asshole to win. Ultimately, you both are sent to hell, where after you destroy him for good, you are trapped there for all eternity, and that is where the AVGN game saga ends. Man, what a journey. It's actually super fitting, to be honest. The final chapter is a neat time, but I wish it was longer than 30 minutes. For the final bit of the story, I was hoping there would be this massive adventure, and it just left me a little underwhelmed by the time I got to the end. Not to say it's bad, because it's a lot of fun with some levels that offer some difficult but rewarding sections to get done. Even with my problems, I don't feel like my time was wasted, and would even say it's a great way to cap off this collection. Alright, before we cap the video off, let's talk about some of the other bonus things I didn't mention in the previous sections. So firstly, I want to talk about some accessibility options. If you're photosensitive, they have a mode to cut back on flashing and flickering so you don't have a seizure. There's also options to disable the screen shaking and post-processing effects, which there was no difference on or off. My favorite is the auto-fire, since sometimes it's nice to take a break from mashing the button. You have 9 save slots to start, and the hardest difficulties are unlocked right at the beginning. Also, with normal mode, you're given infinite lives as opposed to the 30 of the previous releases. Last thing to really mention is the costumes you unlock, including Bora James, Rex Viper, and my favorite of the bunch, which is the Justin Bailey skin in reference to Metroid. You need all the letters in order to unlock it, but it's worth it just for the triple shot alone. Alright, now for my final thoughts and to finally end this shitload of fuck. I guess that's one way to put it. AVGN 1 and 2 Deluxe is an amazing package and is for sure the best way to play these games. You get a ton of enhancements for the first game, the second is still great as it ever was, and you get a fun bonus chapter that'll test your skills as a gamer. I have my issues, but I can't state how much I love this collection and how much I recommend you play it even if you aren't a nerd fan. If you're a nerd fan and haven't bought this, what's the matter with you? Even if you played the original versions, I feel there's enough here to warrant double dipping for whatever you want to play this on. So yeah, give it a purchase and get lost in all this deluxe. So yeah, everybody, that is going to be it for AVGN Deluxe. It's been a long time in the making, but yeah, we finally got there. So now I can finally put this video out and, you know, not have to think about this collection anymore. For those wondering if I'm gonna get to AVGN 8-bit, it's a possibility. I mean, it's something to tackle in the future, and, you know, I'd definitely play it. If you guys aren't sick of the AVGN already. As for what we're gonna do next time for the revisits, it's, Yeah, it's Arkham City Armored Edition. I know like I said, I blue-balled you guys the last time I talked about Batman, so I think it's appropriate that we finally get it out of the way. And I might work on it next, but we'll see. But in the meantime, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.